Hey y'all, how's it going? It's Nick Molk here, and I'm going to teach you how to punt a football. The first important step in punting is to stretch. Stretching allows you to get as much height and distance on the ball with your leg kick. Starting off, spread your feet apart and reach to your right foot. Make sure that your legs are locked so that your hamstring is getting the best stretch as possible. After 10 seconds, switch feet. As you switch to your left foot, it is important to keep your legs straight to ensure the best possible hamstring stretch. For about 10 seconds, you're going to hold this and then switch to the middle. When transitioning to the middle stretch, it is important to move your feet out even further so you can implement a back stretch too. Here you lock your hands and move forward as far as you can, which also stretches the hamstring and the lower back. Then, make sure you're stable and go ahead and do a back twist to ensure your back is nice and loose. This will help later. The next stretch we're going to do is called the standing quad stretch. Make sure you have good posture so you get the best stretch for your quad and your hamstring. If you're flexible enough, as you can see, you reach down to your left foot, which has a deeper stretch for your hamstring. Switch feet. Here, you're going to do the same thing again and try to touch your right foot. That also has a better stretch for your right hamstring. After stretching both sides for 10 seconds, we're going to move to the bend and reach. Here, it is important to keep your knees locked to ensure the best possible stretch for your hamstrings. Notice I keep emphasizing the hamstrings because they are the most common used muscles when implementing your leg kick. Next is a seated hamstring stretch with your feet spread apart. Here it is important to get a deeper stretch by bending over and pulling your toes towards you. After about 10 seconds, you're going to switch to your left and repeat everything I just said. Notice how I pull my toe towards me to get the deepest stretch possible. After you feel a good stretch, we're going to move into the hook and reach. First, you're going to put your right leg over your left and then twist so that you're looking backwards. This is the final stretch that I like to do to make sure that my back is fully loose and flexible. As with the others, make sure you stretch each side for about 10 seconds for the best possible stretch. Once again, repeat. Turn your head back further for a deeper back stretch. This was my usual pregame stretch routine that got me nice and loose to punt. Next, we're going to move on to active stretching, with the first being lunges. Here, it is important to activate the hip flexors and lunge as deep as you can, with your knee on the ground. Notice that I am alternating hands with the knee on the ground for better balance. Do this for about 10 yards down and back. On the way back, I usually like to lift my back foot up for a deeper quad stretch. This is a movement that does not need to be rushed, so take your time. The next active stretch we're going to be doing is called the reverse hurdler. This active stretch is focused on ensuring that your hips are open. For the best stretch, lift your leg up and around for a full rotation of the hip. As with the last active stretch, do this for about 10 yards and back. On the way back, I usually like to add a rhythm into it, which helps implement cardio and gets some blood flowing. It is important to keep good technique and rhythm for the best results. Now that we're done with stretching, next is the active warm-up. This is called high knees, and it is important to keep good posture with your back straight for the best results. Do this for about 10 yards and back while keeping your knees as high as you can. Next is the sprint, and at this point you should be fully warm. Sprint 10 yards, touch the line, and then sprint back. The final thing that I like to do before I hit the field are active leg swings. First, you're going to hold on to the goalpost and swing your leg left to right, ensuring that the hip flexors are entirely stretched. Then switch legs and do the same thing for about 10 seconds. As you're progressing through the rep, you can actively drive the leg to get a deeper stretch. Next, move into vertical leg swings. Hold on to the goalpost and swing your leg in the kicking motion to ensure that your hips are fully loose and ready to go. Next, we're going to focus on footwork and placement. This is a crucial aspect of punting. First, make sure that your right foot lines up with the heel on your left foot. Your feet should be shoulder width apart. This staggered stance creates stability and is an athletic position to help adjust accordingly to a bad snap. Next is hand placement on the ball. When holding the football, you should notice the laces. The laces should be on top of the ball when you hold it and not on the bottom. Next, give the hand a slight twist to the right, or left if you're left-footed, so the laces face the side. The left seam on the football should now be on the top with your thumb touching it, and the rest of the hand should be on the right side of the laces for a firm hold. This specific hold gives more spin on the football, allowing for a better and further kick. Repeat this motion until you feel confident with your hold. Make sure the ball is nice and even, almost like you're serving it on a plate. Next are the proper steps to take into the punt. First, make sure that you have your hold and footwork perfected from the previous steps. Then place your right foot, or left, if you're left-footed, out first, followed by your left foot. This step should be with your dominant foot and is the actual kick itself. Overall, it should go right, left, kick. It is important to repeat this motion continuously so that you attain a rhythm for your punting motion. Muscle memory will take over after consistent practice of these steps. One more time. Snap, right, left, kick, and drive the leg through for more power. Next is the proper hold height of the football. When punting, you want to make the best contact on the ball as possible, and that starts with the height. The ball should be equal to the height of your hip. This gives the ball the perfect amount of distance to drop. Also, if you get a wild snap, such as a high or low snap, the ball should always go back to the height of your hip. It is important to practice these scenarios so that you're prepared for the worst and know where to hold the ball under pressure. Next are the proper drop techniques. I've always been taught to put the ball on a shelf, which means it is completely straight and flat. Dropping the ball like this ensures a solid surface for the foot to strike. A good drill for this is to drop the ball waist high and watch the ball hit the ground evenly. This is how the ball should hit the foot. Next is the proper strike and spin on the ball. This is very important because it indicates how far and high the ball will go. First, you're going to want to hit the ball on the side so it produces a significant amount of spin. The ball should be kicked on the middle of your laces, which has the most padding and support. The final step is exploding through your leg kick. This is an important step as it indicates how much power and lift the ball will have. All of the hamstring stretches from the beginning should ensure that your leg kick is high and straight. Notice how I exploded my leg through so much that my other foot lifts off the ground. This means that you are contributing great power into the punt. Repeat this motion until you feel ready to punt. I usually like to do about 10 of these to feel nice and loose. After following all of these important steps, you should be ready to punt. Notice how all of these steps played a vital part in ensuring the best possible punt. I will slow it down for you guys. Slowed down, you can see that my feet are in a solid position. I bring the ball to my waist. I do my right foot first, followed by my left. The ball is even at my hip, dropped flat, and hit on the tongue of my laces, with a strong follow-through. Notice how high the ball goes. This is due to my explosive leg kick and a solid strike on the ball. I'm also going to share with you guys about the rugby punt. There are two different scenarios where you may have to use it. The first being the high snap. If the ball is over your head, make sure it's secure, avoid any defender, roll out, and get rid of it. You can also use the rugby style when the ball is rolled to you. For example, if it takes a couple bounces, make sure you get the ball first, avoid the defender, and also roll out and get rid of it. I really enjoy punting and would like to share some clips with you guys from high school. The first clip is from the Coles Senior Challenge at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. This is where I implemented all of my technique to compete against some of the best punters in the eastern part of the United States. I finished the competition with a 4.5 out of 5-star rating and finished in the top 20. This last punt was my best one and helped me go to the top 20 competition. Next is a clip from one of my senior games in high school. This was one of my best punts, which was 51 yards with a 4-second hang time. Notice how punting is a defensive position as I help pin the offense back in their own territory. Here's another clip from my senior year and where I showed great execution. Notice when the ball is snapped, I bring it right to my waist and explode through the ball. This gives enough hang time for the punt team to get down and make the tackle. Not every snap was perfect though. During this rainy game, notice how the ball was rolled, but I kept my composure, brought it to my waist, and exploded through the ball. Luckily, I got at least 50 yards on this punt. For the last clip, I wanted to show you guys an example of a rugby punt. Here, the snap is high, and I adjust to it, roll out, and get rid of it. This helped prevent the scenario from getting any worse. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I thoroughly enjoyed teaching you guys how to punt. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy during these unprecedented times.